Hey everybody, thanks for
Hello.
inviting me to this meeting. Since I started only in February, this was a very good opportunity for me to study the recent grant proposal that was provided by the project manager of ERN PaedCan to understand the role of the patient board in this network. Next slide, please. Next one. So this is the patient board of ERN PaedCan with Anita and Luisa. They are ePAG steering committee members of the ERN PaedCan and participate in regular meetings, steering meetings. All the other people in the board are also very much involved in the network, and every 2 weeks we hold regular meetings and we discuss ERN PaedCan related matters. So the next slide, please. All of the people I showed you are members of Childhood Cancer International Europe. And as you may know, our most pressing needs are that for pediatric cancer, there is unfortunately large inequalities in the survival rates throughout Europe, and that is very bad. So the treatment is different depending on the country, which is why we are all driven to improve this. And why we all work together for a long time already. And Childhood Cancer International comprises, meanwhile, of about 63 European member organizations from 34 countries, not only the EU, but also outside of the European Union. And it's very important that we also have those on board. Next slide, please. The two chairs of CCI Europe, Anita and Luisa, are part of the oversight committee in ERN PaedCan, so they have a clear governance role in this network, and they meet, I think they meet every 2 months on a regular basis and discuss recent developments in the network. And the whole board is always also involved, and of course we participate in the meetings in the General Assembly and so on. Next slide, please. We are also involved in quality assurance and evaluation of the network's performance. So we review the performance of the network and also the documents that they provide. We contribute to the dissemination of patient information, policy, good practice, care pathways, and guidelines. This is very important for us as well. Next slide, please. Well, going back to the survey that was presented by Simone, I think we performed not too bad. It seems that we are the only network so far that has its own budget, because I saw it was only one. Am I right? This must have been us, because yes, because last year the coordinator and also the patient board, they became aware that to bring things forward more quickly and better, there needs to be a specific work package dedicated to the integration of patient representatives in the network, and that all pediatric and adolescent cancer patients in Europe have access to the ERN PaedCan structures and to the multidisciplinary tumour board for advice. This is super important for us and would bring us further to the goal that we would have equal treatment in Europe and equal survival rates. So indeed, we have received a small budget, which covers actually my work as a project manager for the patient board to organize all the activities that are necessary to achieve this goal. Next slide, please. We are also involved in the specific objective 6, training and education. This is very important for the healthcare providers from the widening countries, but not only for them, also for the patient advocates to understand how they can get involved, what their role in specific is, and how they can receive help when it is needed. So, and by chance, we are going to have a webinar soon for our CCI Europe members that is specifically focused on ERN PaedCan. It will take place on the 3rd of April. You are all invited to participate if you are interested. Just go to the CCI Europe website and you can register there. Next slide, please. Another very important issue for us is the development of guidelines to really train clinicians from the widening countries so that they have some guidelines in hand, that they know exactly what to do and how to treat the patients when they come into their hospital. And we are part of this, and the goal is to improve, of course, the outcomes and increase childhood cancer survival, and also the quality of life, which becomes increasingly important with the increase of the survival rates. Next slide, please. You skipped one.
Oh, sorry.
But this is not so, since we don't have much time, it's not so important. It's just we have already developed some guidelines, and this is really people from widening countries are extremely happy and gave very, very good feedback how important such guidelines are, not only for the clinicians, but also for the parents of the children, because they understand much better what they can do when they are affected. Next one. Our next pressing steps are to develop a clear pathway for patients on how to access our network, and also the so-called clinical patient management system, which is in fact in our case a virtual tumor board where the clinicians from widening countries can get advice on how to treat a specific patient that may have a very complicated diagnosis. And when I started in February, just 1 week later, we were approached, for example, by a Polish father from a child with a rather complicated diagnosis. And together with him, the treating physician, and the ERN PaedCan management, we were able to receive 6 recommendations for drug dosing, length of treatment, results, prospects, and so on from experts throughout Europe. I mean, this was really a super achievement. What we now need to do is to formalize this process and implement it. So far, we only managed to do it per email because this clinical patient management system seems to be very complicated, and we need to improve access and also the cooperation between clinicians, patients, and our management team. That's it from my side. Thank you very much again for inviting me. It's highly interesting for me to learn your side.